everybody. My name is Thomas.
I'm Amber.
And this is the Be Blue to Yourself commentary, which we have aptly named Be Blue to Ourselves. We thought it was clever. And this is the second episode. So hopefully you're enjoying the ride so far, because today we're talking about episode 2 of Be Blue to Yourself.
I never thought I'd get this far.
And of course, as always, we are Tominator Pictures, and also So What Happens Next. But again, more on that later on. So yeah, like I said, today we are tackling episode 2 of Be Blue to Yourself. Nate, Amber, what are your guys' opening thoughts on episode 2 before we jump in? I mean, fondness as far as ideas go, thoughts and stuff, or is it like a, oh god, episode 2?
No, I'm excited for it. I'm excited for us to meet Radagast. I think that'll be fun.
Yeah, same. I also like the location of this episode as well. So you'll definitely get a nice scenery.
Sure, it's big enough, but look at the location.
Oh yeah, I'm stoked to meet Radagast. I think I really like the direction we wrote and the way, Amber, you took Radagast in this. Like, I feel like we wanted to, like, I think if I remember right, Nate, you and I were like, let's have Radagast, if you just took the, like, weird but lovable, hallucinogenic, abusive hermit wizard, and then just, like, made him keep getting worse. And like that's what you get. And like I remember we could talk about it when we get into it, but I remember we had like a couple different options for how we wanted to do Radagast. Like his intro, or I guess in our case her intro, was gonna be like, there was a version that was like way different, but then the sort of maniacal planning Radagast, at least that we had like initially scripted. But if you guys are ready, we can hit play and get started on this.
Sounds good.
Yep.
All right, let's do it. So here it is, Be Blue Yourself, episode 2.
So that would be $5 for both.
5? Last time they were 2.
Hey, tough times, man. I try and sell my goods for reasonable prices to reasonable people. But are you reasonable people?
Of course we're reasonable people. We're Maiar. If I didn't know any better, I'd think you were messing with a very powerful wizard.
One of you can't even do spells, and the other one only does.
Okay. So this is the first, and I think maybe even technically speaking, well, there are 2 original characters that we made for this show. This is the first one. I believe her name is Indica Cushbottom.
Yes.
The Hobbit leaf dealer, or the Hobbit leaf dealer, yeah, that clearly Romastamo and Reator know from many dealings prior. I think one of the reasons I paused it here, though, was because I really liked 2 things. The first one is that I think we did a good job setting up the camera to make Amber look that much shorter than us, like with the stump. And then, even though I think this was filmed on a hill, which I don't think we thought about at the time, but like that was smart on our part to do that. But the other thing I like, and this is maybe me tooting my own horn, but like this is one of Nate's magical moments, I think, as I started calling them, where it was like, oh, time for Thomas to spend like an hour on special effects to make like a sun come up in the palm of his hand. what I loved, like one of the things I made sure to do that I learned when we did Weird 2 was that like, oh shit, lighting is really important. And like I was mad because something that drives me nuts, and you know, maybe we'll do a commentary on Weird 2 and I'll point it out then, but like there's a scene in that trailer where like I walk out of that portal and like we had thought about this when we filmed in our apartment, but we didn't think about it in the alleyway. So there's no like purple glow behind me, so it kind of looks weird, and it drives me nuts because I love everything else about that except that one shot. So with this, I was like, okay, he's got a ball in his hand and he's glowing blue. I gotta make sure the light, even if it's digital, is like peeking over. And then with Amber's snark, it's just like that much more intense because it's like this man is holding a sun in your face, and you're just like, shh, can't do anything. Amber, what are your thoughts on? You played in Dika Cushbottom. What was your approach? What was your like, you know, method?
Well, like he said, this halfling has done a lot of dealings before with these two guys. And so just basically imagining a person that just does not take shit from other people. And it's just like, this is what I'm offering you, take it or leave it. And I think with the costume, I really love the gloves right here. Like I can remember getting that from Walmart, and it just like really adds to the piece. But yeah, just kind of going with that and just hoping that the end product is good, honestly.
I remember that was the bedspread, right? Like I bought that bedspread.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
From that, there was that strip mall. You remember the strip mall, Nate, where it was like a Hobby Lobby knockoff store, but then everything was variations on like Ross and TJ Maxx and Burlington Coat Factory. They all sold the same shit. And I remember like, oh look, like a twin bed a sheet set. It was like $5, and we'll talk about it later, but there was another character that we didn't get to shoot, which is real bummer, but that was why I bought these black sheets. And it was just like, well, we got all these fucking sheets, let's just like figure out where we can use them for Amber's costumes, because it was like we have a bathrobe and that's it. So going from that was fun.
Yeah, which I love the next outfit that I have on for the other character.
Oh yeah, I loved the direction, and then we'll talk about it when we get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nate, how does it feel getting your first magical moment here for this one? Like this, I feel like that face is so there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean it's you did a great job on the special effects, and it is really fun to see like the little ambient lighting there too, as you pointed out. Yeah, I think it's fun. It's always a little ridiculous when you're shooting and you have to just like hold out your hand and pretend there's something there, but you know, it's fun to see it actually materialize.
Yeah, I like you get like a little smirk like right before a cut, because I was like, I think it's like right before the end of the shot, and you're like, I can see you start to feel goofy, and I'm in the background and I'm just like all right, let's keep going, because there's a lot. Well, there's a good bit left of this episode.
Those muffins.
How dare! No. Indy. We are very reasonable people. You know this. I know this. But come on. 5? A pack? I thought we were friends.
So are you saying that my prices aren't fair, friend?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that maybe your wartime brag here is a little overblown. I mean, after all, we already know that Lord Theoden already sent everybody to Helm's Deep for safety. So, I mean, I don't think there's really a lot of issue anymore.
Perhaps.
I'll make you a deal. 2 packs, 3, and one magic muffin.
I'm gonna just pull it out of my ass.
Doesn't really.
It detects you from evil.
Really?
Oh yeah. I take it myself. How do you think we've survived this whole time?
Deal.
Deal? Thank you very much. Pleasure doing business with you, Indy.
Well, Lord knows I could use more protection these days.
You got it.
So how'd you do that there?
Do what?
2 packs? 3?
Just have to know how to talk to her.
I remember learning how much more difficult it is to light a pipe than I thought it was.
Especially with those pipes.
Oh my god, it was nuts because it was like we're sitting there, like there was at least 5 minutes of us sitting there passing this lighter back and forth before actually shooting it because we're like trying to get the fucking thing to go. But then we knew we weren't gonna film for like a whole pipe's worth. So it was like, what do we do? Like, how long? So I really feel like we just kept sucking on those things until like, just to keep the smoke going long enough for what happens next.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was funny seeing all the passing people. I'm surprised that nobody said anything.
Well, there was that one guy.
That
Do you
one
guys remember the
fisherman
guy?
Yeah.
Well, there's a
Yeah.
fisherman guy for sure. I love that one. That like big guy that's like, I'm going fishing today. And we were like, that's really cool, man.
Yeah, and then proceed to talk to us about like different types of fish.
Because he kept talking to him. I remember being baffled as hell because we're all standing there. Like me and Nate are dressed like wizards, and at this point you're kind of more or less in normal clothes. And this very large gentleman comes walking by and he just says something about fishing. And Amber, you're like, yeah. What are you looking to catch today? Like you started a genuine conversation with this man. And he was all about it. He's like, yeah, like gotta come out here at the right time. And you're like, oh yeah, like, like you come out here often. You just kept going. It was the weirdest thing.
I'm like, please don't call the cops on us.
No, it was wild. And then I remember, I think just after this one, there was that guy that was like weird. So we're dressed because we're doing something, right? There was that guy that was clearly dressed like a medieval serf that was just like out with his dog. Do you guys remember that guy?
Yeah.
Because I was like, I kind of want to ask him to be like the ring wraith or something like that. But you guys were like, no, don't. And we were like, okay, fine. But
Yeah,
I just
'cause
remember
think
like,
those were his normal clothes, so that
which is
kind of would have been an
weird. That's so weird. Like, why? Like, I just remember like we don't normally dress like this.
insult. Yeah, there were some characters there, that's for sure.
That was, this was filmed at Deception Pass State Park, by the way. Hence some of the funky edits you can see in the background where I tried to cover up where cars
The parking
were.
lot.
I think it came out pretty good for the most part. There's a couple bits where it's like a little glitchy and I just couldn't do anything about it. But like, there was a couple where I'm just like, yeah, this is nice. This is solid. You wouldn't know there are cars there. And then I got kind of, I guess, lazy about it. And there are picnic tables.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I also love the pan.
What was that about the magic muffin?
Amber when you came down from the tree?
Listen,
Yes.
I think it tastes pretty magical to me.
I got the new boots.
Oh
They're
yeah,
just
your
new.
third pair of shoes.
Yeah.
So, they're made with magic, right?
Right.
Okay, well, what would you call a beer you brewed at home?
A homebrew?
Okay. Now, if you made a pie at home, what would you call that?
Homemade?
Well, they're made with magic. My case stands. Magic muffin.
The logic.
Ooh.
I hate that I forgot to take the tripod out of the shot.
Oh yeah.
Oh shoot, I didn't even notice.
I don't think anyone does, but it's there. I ruined it for all of
noticed
you. Yeah.
Dear friends.
First almost fight scene.
Friends,
Right.
I mean you no harm.
Okay, I love the costume direction we went with Radagast, because I think we were like, originally when we scripted Radagast, they were supposed to be like Gollum. I think we had written the original intro for Radagast was like they were like digging in the ground trying to talk to a mole, and like we just happened upon them, and like that was it for a while. And then I remember when the three of us sat down for like the first like script read, Amber, I think you said something along the lines of like, what if it was just like a bathrobe? Like, what could we use for a costume or something? And Nate, maybe it was you. I don't remember who said it, but somebody said a bathrobe. And Radagast spiraled into like, if the dude was homeless, like the Big Lebowski was homeless. And it just like, it kept going. And like, Amber, I mean, the music, I will say this, I picked this music, I got a lot of this music off of YouTube, like the free stuff.
Yeah.
Like I didn't steal it all from YouTube, but like this song, when I heard it, like I was scrolling through, I was like, I don't know what to pick. Like, what should Radagast's music be? And like I hit it, and I was like, this is perfect. This like little melodica tune, because Amber plays it like you play it like you're gonna scam us, and I mean
Yeah.
you are like. But it was just like, friends, like, don't worry about it. And the gloves, I feel like you knew you were wearing gloves. Like, you kind of had that jazz hand thing going on.
Yeah, definitely was going for that hobo look, right? And
Yeah.
especially if you watch The Hobbit, and especially when Radagast appears, I think in the second and then third movie, possibly. He just has that feel to him, like a guy that hasn't taken a bath in a year.
He's got bird shit all over his head.
Yeah,
Of course
like he's very not clean at all. But this is like taking it further, like you said. So a guy that's just spirals and it's
Right.
just like trying to steal from other people. Kind of like not a good wizard anymore.
Yeah. I think that's something that like Nate, you and I kind of did really interesting here, is like Marinatar and Ramastamo are arguably like also not very good wizards. Like we're not good at it.
Mhm.
But like we're not malicious, or at least like selfish in the same way that Radagast is, I think. And so if you wanted to get like real big, not that we wrote it this way, but like you want to get like real big and interpretive about it, I think there's an interesting dynamic here of like, hey, it's three wizards who are not evil like Sauron or like wholly good like Gandalf. They're just three people that are supposed to be doing something else, and they're kind of not. And I think that's like an interesting like perspective I never really quite thought about till right now.
We're like the gray Jedi of this.
Maybe that's giving us a little too much cool credit, but like, but yeah, it's like that. It's like, yeah, like we have this awesome magical power, but like, are we using it properly? Eh.
Who are you?
I'm Radagast the Brown.
Ugh, wait a minute. I recognize that name. You're a wizard.
Of course she's a wizard. This is Radagast the Brown.
Yeah?
Yeah. I was wondering if you guys could help me with an important mission.
Well, of course we're on a mission ourselves.
Oh, yes. But I couldn't help but smell that you had some leaf on you.
Oh, well, of course, yes.
Yeah, we just bought that leaf. What do you want with our leaf?
Well, I have an important mission myself, where I need to deliver some leaf to Elrond, you know, in Rivendell.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, okay. What does he want out of that?
He just needs some leaf.
Oh, okay. I mean, I guess.
Everyone loves to smoke.
This is Radagast. Come on.
Yes. Why are you questioning me?
I mean, I guess so. You are one of the wizards.
Yes.
But then again, Saruman killed us.
Well, this is not Saruman. This is Radagast.
The brown.
That isn't white at all.
It's not red or tan. This is brown.
That's not important. This is Radagast.
The brown,
Yes.
not tan,
Not white.
not white. You don't happen to, I don't know, hate Gandalf the Grey by any chance, do you?
Oh, absolutely not. I helped out Gandalf back in the day.
Oh, really?
Yes.
How?
I sent some eagles over to him after I noticed that he'd been gone for a while.
See. Now we can trust Radagast with this leaf, so let's give him the leaf.
Okay. He's getting your pack.
Well, fair enough, sure.
I'm not giving him mine. Here you go.
Thank you so much.
Of course we would do that for you, Radagast.
Now I need to be off on my mission.
Yes, of course. You go about your way.
Wait a minute. You're gonna leave us on our mission?
No, I can't. Very important mission.
That was a really fun scene to film.
That was fun. I liked the did we like I think the original like thought was like, oh, just like jump behind the bush, but you just kept backing up because the bush was bigger than I guess we thought it was.
But it made it so much better.
It was so good.
Yeah.
And I think all three of us immediately, like Nate, I remember you like walked up to me and you were like, we should do like when we meet Radagast again, like she should run away again. I was like, oh yeah, we're doing that. Like it was like immediately every time Radagast leaves, they will be running away behind a bush. Like that is how we're doing it. I will say if there's one strange thing that nobody seems to have noticed, so maybe I'm shooting us in the foot again. When I was editing this episode, I realized we never like did a proper ending. Like that was it. This was all the footage I had besides blooper stuff in between. And it just kind of stopped. And then we were like, okay, the next one's episode 3. And I was like, well, I can't flip it around. So I guess I'll just stop on me. Like, I love your smile, Nate. Like, you're just like, hell yeah, we did some good. And so it ended up working out really nice. But yeah, I was just like, oh shit, we don't have like an ending. But no, this one was fun. I liked I liked how we introduced Radagast. I like our interpretation of him. If I could change one thing personally, I wish we could have had like another camera. Because that final bit, I felt like I was like, oh man, like if we had just a little like moved it a little bit further back. Because like Nate, you're like in and out of the camera, like in the frame. And it's just because it's like the way we put the camera. And like because none of us could see it, because all three of us were in the scene. Big important guys, always have a camera person. Because if no one's doing the camera, the best scenes we have are when someone's doing the camera besides us. Or besides like, you know, they're not in the scene. But yeah. What do you guys, so if you guys like last time, if you could change anything, or if we were to do it again, right? Like full on, what would it be for you guys? What would be the big change?
I think like you pointed out, like having more camera work in the episode, I think would have been really helpful because a lot of it is just zoomed in on us, especially with the first one with Indigo Cushbottom. It's just like a very small frame. And I think both of you are kind of almost like barely in it. And so I feel like having like a wider, you know, screen to be able to kind of see a little bit of the background as well. Although we don't want like the parking lot or anything like that. But just giving like a fuller view of things.
That's fair. What about you, Nate?
Yeah, I think the camera work is really the only thing I can think of outside of maybe if we had the time to go on a day when it wouldn't be busy, or I mean, if we had the budget to just like rent out the park, of course that would be better. But yeah, we only really had the weekend, so couldn't really help that there were people there too.
Yeah, the bulk of this show was filmed at that park. Like we kept just moving down the park
It's
to
a
say
great
it was a
park.
different. It was a solid park,
Yeah.
and I feel like it's another one of those situations, kind of like the river, where it was like we don't know how long it will take to find another spot.
Yeah.
And it was sort of like we could keep going because the park is huge. Like the actual national or state park is massive. We probably could have found another somewhat less parking lot like place to film. But we were like, nah, we're here. Let's just go. We only had one day. Let's just do it. So I think like for what it was, I think we definitely do a good job. Hiding the cars or not, because I think like later when we move further away in the park, we start filming from angles, especially when we get down that hill where that weird little fire pit was. Like that starts to help a lot because there's like not really a lot in the background to hide. Most of the stuff is over here. Like you can kind of see it now, like behind me, like the cars. Like I didn't get rid of the cars. It was just a freeze frame for the picnic table. But yeah, like I think if I changed anything, it would just be like maybe a fourth person to like handle the camera stuff, or like having two cameras that were like angled in, you know?
If we need a best boy grip. I don't really know
Yeah.
what that is, but
I don't know, but we need a best boy.
yeah, next time.
We'll get ourselves a best boy and we'll start making gold.
Yeah. Also, one thing to add, I think you talked to me about this before when you were like editing this episode, but I noticed how loud like the birds were, and you were like, I put that in.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
Yeah. It was exactly like the air conditioner. Cause it was like I remember I showed you the episode and you were like, well, the birds were really loud that day. I don't remember being that loud. And I was like, well, because they weren't. Like, it was really quiet. And I was like, well, we need to be like, they're in nature. They're in the forest. And so I found like ambient forest sounds, the YouTube video or whatever, and just stuck it in there. But yeah, I think that's episode 2. It's definitely one of our shorter episodes. And I think it encapsulates that the major goal of the whole series was to ultimately deliver Hobbit Leaf from one end of Middle Earth to the other. But yeah, you guys got any other final thoughts on this one before we wrap this episode up?
No, not that I can think of, but it was definitely like one of the more fun episodes that we did.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I think the next one was one of the more fun ones for me personally, just because of, well, the fight and all that. But we'll talk more about that next time as we continue Be Blue to ourselves. Every other week we're dropping these, kind of like how we did with the original series. So not next week, but the week after, be on the lookout for episode 3. And until then, we're Tom and Eater Pictures. My name is Tom.
I'm Amber.
No, Nate.
And we'll see you guys later.